Warrior Queen. He had a peep over the right shoulder, and she's going to blow them away. Galaxy Star draws away from them. Pike Magician.
Welcome to Racing Rewind. Our panel will review the Pine Metropolitan meeting of the week. They will look for the horses to follow, those to forgive, and possibly those to forget. If you have an opinion, send a text to 0427 789 571. 0427 789 571.
Ah, yes. Gotta love Racing Rewind. Michael Heaton and Lochie Taylor are in. How are we, gentlemen?
The favourite hour of our week. Good morning, Marty, Michael and listeners. Great to be back in the studio as always.
Morning, boys. First day of spring today.
Ooh.
And
how's the hay fever, mate?
Yeah, no, all good.
Good.
We've survived the first few hours of it anyway. Happy Father's Day as well.
Thank you.
Yes, to you too. Happy Father's Day.
Busy day for Lochie today. There's a few running around.
No, you can't say those things anymore.
It's a bit of a different day yesterday, wasn't it? There was a lot of favourites that went under early. We had Bravo Centurion, unfortunately, scratched the barriers. Probably the most exciting horse that was racing on yesterday's program. Small fields, a couple of deceptive finishes. It was it was a bit of an interesting day.
Yeah, it was. And it profiled like that going into the meeting as well.
A lot of races with no leaders.
Exactly.
Just no speed in them.
So as you said, there were so many short price favourites. I think there were 5 or 6 going into the races yesterday that were around that even money price. You combine that with the fact that horses had been racing on a heavy 8 or heavy 9 leading into yesterday's meeting, as well as the fact that there were races with just absolutely no speed on paper. And on a couple of occasions, they played out in exactly that manner as well. So it was always going to be a tricky day for punters to decipher their way through. But in the end, it's our job to try and find the winners moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. Ginnivan, ultra impressive. Geez, he broke the clock as well for a soft track, broke 59. He ran the fastest last 600 of the race, possibly even the meeting, in fact, leading, which you don't often see. I think he's done it a couple of times before, though. He bolted in by 2.5 lengths, and I think it was good yesterday, the fact that it was on a soft 5. We've been seeing him relish the softer and heavier tracks in recent times, but a soft 5, we're getting towards that firmer going, hopefully, after a break, because I think you were saying yesterday, Lockie, there aren't any other races for him. We can see him come back and show that form as a stronger horse at Ascot and perhaps a Summer Scorcher and those feature short course races.
Exactly right. That was obviously the slight query on the horse going into yesterday's meeting, like a lot of the favourites, is that they were facing a firmer track there yesterday. And I think for us moving forward, in months to come, we're going to be answered the question of, has he come back a stronger horse throughout these winter months? I think he probably has, as well as relishing the I guess, more rain-affected tracks. And the test for him moving forward is, can he strengthen a little bit more moving forward, and can he continue to replicate these performances on what will be good fours at Ascot? So, yeah, there's a few options for him moving forward, and we'll have to sit down and work that out over the next couple of days.
Okay, we've got one from Greg L. right off the top, because we're talking about Ginnivan. Love a jump and run horse like Ginnivan. Been on it every run this prep and reaped the rewards. We'll be sad to see it spelled, and presuming that's not far off, you can't be up forever.
No, well,
there are tablets for that.
It's more so forced more than anything, as Michael touched upon. We need to straighten this up. As Michael touched upon, there's actually no more races for him in the next few weeks. So we just have to sit down and figure out whether we go to a Crawford or a Summer Scorcher. I'd probably be leaning towards the latter. But yeah, we'll figure that out in the next couple of days.
Crawford pre-Winterbottom?
Yeah.
So Summer Scorchers, which is only really...
It's only
2.5 months away or something.
Yeah, I think it's within
less than that. 5
or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he wouldn't have much of a break, but Summer Scorcher is obviously on Perth Cup Day, so I think that would be a nice option for him.
Yep, and probably cop the Winterbottom horses coming through as well in that Crawford.
Exactly right.
Okay, let's move it on. So, Steward's Room.
Nothing to report at all, really, other than the fact that Bravo Centurion, as Michael touched upon, was a late withdrawal. Unfortunately, lunged forward in his barrier, hit his head, and there was the presence of blood in both nostrils. So I think he's all okay. It's just that things didn't go his way yesterday afternoon in the barriers, but yeah, I'm still very, very confident that he's a star in the making, and hopefully we get to see him back at the races either next week or the week after.
Is there a race for him next week?
I'm not sure.
Sorry?
I'm not sure.
He's usually the programmer, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just slacking off today.
Okay, race number 1, the Tab Touch Westmead Platinum Handicap. This was over the 1600.
Dropping out last, in fact, in front of it, Colchino. Well, it's Royal Gap who comes to the home corner. Stephen Parnham, they're off and gone. Trying to get a break at the 400 with Royal Gap. Riding it along, coming into the turn, but stalked now by Bar Time. Coming away from the inside is the fave. Pray Again from Kazi, who dropped off, and then Colchino, Jedi Mind. Bar Time moves up at the 200 metre mark to join Royal Gap, who fights. In behind them, Pray Again, taking a day to get there and won't. Royal Gap's fighting. Royal Gap responding, beats off Bar Time, and this is going to be all the way for Royal Gap. Royal Gap on the back upbeat Bar Time, and third it was close, Kazi or Colchino.
Wait for it.
Well, never ever again would you back.
He didn't just finish there either. I think he
Kept going.
kept going, really sinking the slipper in.
But all honours to Royal Gap. It had been a while since he had seen the winner's circle. In fact, just about this whole field. They all had a very similar profile going into yesterday's event, but Royal Gap, in a race devoid of speed, I thought this was a great ride from Steve Parnham. Just allowed the horse to stride to the lead, and from there got a fairly cheap time of it down the back. Really put the foot down coming into the corner, and from there kicked away. Bar Time I thought was good, but Royal Gap, all honours to him. He ran out the mile, and in my opinion, Bar Time probably better suited to 1400 metres moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. First leg of an early double for Stevie. Really well rated in front, Royal Gap, and Bar Time, you're right, loomed like he was going to go straight past Royal Gap, but the horse was 1100 to 1400 to a mile, and I think that was his first time he's ever been past 1400 previously, so I think back to 1400 metres probably suits him. Royal Gap actually ran the second fastest last 600 as the leader, so was given a nice time of it in front, then kicked strongly. Colchino flashed late to run third in what was a deceiving finish in my opinion. I thought Kazi ran third, but ended up finishing fourth, and from there, Pray Again, as Darren alluded to at the end of the call there, had every chance for mine. $1.70. You'd be kicking yourself if you were aboard him at the shorts, I would have thought.
Yeah, he hasn't won in 434 days, and I don't think it's just that. It's the fact that there's been so many occasions where he's loomed like the winner over the last year, and he just hasn't been able to get the job done, in a similar sense to a horse like Lover Session, I guess, albeit I feel like Lover Session is much more reliable. Yeah, Pray Again, what do you do with him? I'm not sure, but you just don't back him at those quotes.
Yeah, that probably wraps up the first.
And we move to the second, the National Pump and Energy Plate. This was over the 1,000 metres.
Who's often gone at the 400. Nicely played, about 3 clear as they come into the home straight. In pursuit, on the outside, Blue Rocket. Also right there, Desert Whisper. Clean 'em Up's gone right back to the inside, and Pike is driving her through. Blue Rocket reaches the lead. Here comes Clean 'em Up, darting through against the inside. Desert Whisper battles, and down the outside, Maddie Girl. Clean 'em Up's just in front. Maddie Girl trying. Pike goes for the shillelagh. Clean 'em Up, Maddie Girl. Maddie Girl diving at Clean 'em Up and made it close. Right on the line, Maddie Girl dived at Clean 'em Up. Leave it to the judge. The momentum certainly with Maddie Girl.
Got home like a rocket train, didn't it? Down the outside of the course for Stevie Parnham and Simon Miller. Big price, this. Richie Bell was all over it.
It was, and I actually think she's just an underrated filly off the back of this performance yesterday. I think last preparation we saw her win using her speed over the 1,000-metre journey, and I think going into that Pinjarra Magic Millions where she drew barrier 14 or 14, the only way that she was ever going to run 1,200 metres was to ride her dead cold, and the way she flashed home late in behind Big Shots was just an enormous run on that occasion. I think they actually learnt how to ride her moving forward. She just looks like a get-back sprinter. She's not an overly big filly, and there yesterday she settled last in running. They really rolled along courtesy of nicely played with the blinkers going on, and from there she showed a super turn of foot down the middle of the track. Loved the win, and I love the second horse as well, and that's why I feel that Maddie Girl might just be an underrated filly that could continue to go around at big quotes, especially if she heads towards a race like a Belgravia or a Placid Arc in the pursuit of getting some black type on her page.
Yeah, I took a bit of a set against her yesterday because I thought she was destined to settle last with some really nice horses likely to be in front of her, but the heavens almost a line for her because nicely played with the blinkers on, just really charged and over-raced and brought them a lot of those horses that were settled just behind undone. So Stevie was just smoking the pipe out the back and was able to get there in that last bound. But they've certainly learned something. It's been a blessing in disguise, that Magic Millions, and she's clearly a really effective ridden with a sit. I'm still not giving up on the second horse, so I really like Clean 'Em Up. I think she's going to make a lovely horse. I think it's the first time she settled that far back as well. She ended up 3 back the fence with how quick they were going.
That's what I loved about her run. She had to do it in a different way there yesterday, so that versatility, that's going to hold her in really good stead moving forward towards the bigger races.
And Golden Vale was an interesting watch. So when she had the blinkers going on in her last start, I think it was in the Gym Crack, it looked like it just blew her mind there at Ascot that day. I remember seeing her in the yard. She was a mess. She was all over the place. And yesterday she was really quiet. And so because of the fact that she had trialled quite average leading into the run, I was thinking, oh no, maybe this is a bad thing. But she was a lot better yesterday. So perhaps the pennies dropped with her and she finished off quite well. Thought Desert Whisper was a good run outside of coming up from maiden grade as well. The stablemate in the leader probably brought her undone, if anything, but without that, I think she would have gone quite close. And Blue Rocket, just no luck. The speed kicked up underneath, was 3 deep the trip, still loomed on straightening, but was found wanting over the late stages. She's the type of horse I think could still win second up if she happened to find the right race and barrier.
Just on Golden Vale, I was a fan of the run there yesterday into third. She's won twice over the 1,000 previously, but I actually felt like she was looking for more ground, if anything. I'd love to see her at 1,200 metres in time and hopefully be able to settle handy to the speed, and I think that's where we'll see the best of her moving forward.
Get the program out, flick it through to Simon.
What about Winning Rupert, sire of Matty Girl?
Yes, very timely victory with obviously breeding season very, very soon.
Got one here from Craig of Karrinyup has sent one through. He says, I'm a big fan of Lochie's work, almost as big as he is.
Good luck.
He said he wants to know, prior to Jenny, where's she going next?
I believe she's going to the Mackay Diva Stakes, Marty.
Okay, Mackay Diva. And he's also said, thanks for Ginnivan. It's been a terrific ride. You've got a lot of fans out there.
My girlfriend's dad is named Craig, and they live in Karrinyup. I doubt he's tuning in,
That'll be him, for sure.
Are we doing Ginnivan's eulogy or something today? He's not going away for too long, is he?
Greg and Craig, bloody hell.
Jeez, it's all right, boys. He'll be back in a month.
Race 3, the reliable asset maintenance handicap over the 1,000 metres. One of the few that won yesterday, that's why.
Taddy being urged along on the inside third. A bit more than a length. Pearly Nugget going around Sky Duke. Paddy's Flight hugs the rail, and the tail ender is under influence. Ain't No Other Man going well here by the 275, a length and a half to 2. Clear Capital Flight in behind those then. Pearly Nugget leading Taddy. The leader is showing the Persuader. Ain't No Other Man with 100 left to go. Capital Flight closing down the margin. Look at Under Influence though. Here's Under Influence coming from the back of the field with a barnstorming run. Grabbed the lead right on the line. G. Pike timed that perfectly. Under Influence has got there in a great finish from Capital Flight or Paddy's Flight.
Yeah, it was Capital Flight from Paddy's Flying for second and third. Ain't No Other Man fourth. But Under Influence continues this wonderful run for your team, the Pierce brothers, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a breakout preparation this time in. The knock on him was always, of course, his racing pattern, but that he didn't really handle soft tracks early in his career. But not sure whether it's just maturity or what. But this time in, he's handled them without issue, and he's ran some cracking races. He hasn't been out of the first 5. He won a couple of starts back. The previous start prior to yesterday was only a week earlier, and the 1,200 metres, just that slower tempo just seems to bring him undone. He can run the distance, but he just really needs the speed on. So 1,000 to 1,100 is his pet trip, and backed off 7 days yesterday, back to 1,000 metres. He was the strongest horse slate. Terrific ride by William Pike. I would have loved to know what this horse was going to be trading in the run, and probably on straightening, but geez, he really knuckled down to the task over the last couple of 100 metres and was super strong through the line.
Exactly right. I think Dan, Ben and those connections of Under Influence should send me a message this morning and thank me, because when Michael and I were watching the race at the 300 metre mark, I said to Michael, I'm not sure if he's going that good.
I don't think that was the term you used.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit rude, but but as soon as I said it, he just grew late. It was a super win, and I just can't recall a horse quite like him. I know we've seen get-back sprinters over the years, but they all seem to travel into the race at least, and you can see them about to let down. But this horse, he looks like he's going to tail off, and then he just comes late. He's a little ripper, and the Pierce brothers are doing a great job with him.
Only a $15,000 yearling as well. Yeah. He's a half to
Miss Kentucky.
Miss Kentucky's obviously chalk some cheese, but
how did that happen? By Caravaggio, mate.
Yeah, yep. He, I don't. Miss Kentucky hadn't done what she had done at that stage when he was purchased. I think she was probably a 2-year-old.
Must have been an ordinary looking yearling.
Yeah, probably bought on spec.
Stable name, Michael. Paddy's Flying, the third horse, I thought was unlucky not to win the race, was held up at vital stages, looking at his work through the line, I think with clear air. He makes it very, very interesting, and it was great to see Capital Flight at a big quote return to some form. Obviously, it's been a while since he saluted the judge, some 631 days, but perhaps a win isn't too far away for Capital Flight, which would be great to see.
He's a nice-looking horse, Capital Flight. It was good to see him perform yesterday. Ain't no other man. Actually got things steady enough in front. This was by far the slowest of the 3,000-metre races on the day, and looked like he was probably going to hang on. Then, just as he does, just tired a bit the last few strides. Was only beaten in length. Pretty solid effort, but I think under influence probably makes his win all the better, because he probably is better suited with a bit more tempo on up front.
Okay, we go to race number 4, and this was the Key Clean handicap over the 2,200 metres.
This stage look to be travelling pretty well, though, behind Filthy Habits. Just needs to see some daylight. Now to the outside comes Queen of Jerusalem. There followed further back Celebrity Witness getting clear. Filthy Habits joined by Candlelight Supper, Queen of Jerusalem, and Iowa's now getting room near the inside. Celebrity Witness coming down the outer, right across the track. Queen of Jerusalem. Iowa goes up on the inside to join her, though. 100 to go, and Iowa lets down, and it's Iowa drawing clear late. Iowa too strong again. Beat home. Tight for second, either Candlelight Supper or Stop Dreaming getting through.
Yeah, it was Stop Dreaming beating Candlelight Supper there for second and third. Filthy Habits back in fourth, but it was Iowa, the Galileo 7-year-old, and the fans of Penguin salute again.
He's a very, very nice Iowa. I think if there was a Kalgoorlie Cup market, he would certainly be the favourite. He's just trending in the right direction. He was a month between runs heading into yesterday's performance. And after the win of Matty Girl, I asked Simon about this horse. Why was he a month between runs? Why did he go this race over the mile? And he just said that he thought he was going to get the softer run in this event. So I read between the lines, he obviously wanted to just take a trail in behind the likely leader in Filthy Habits. So they weren't there to knock him around. And this was essentially just a prep run en route to a Boulder Cup and then Kalgoorlie Cup. And he's just...
He's a fighter.
Yeah, he is. He knows where the winning post is. He got
travels too.
Yeah, and I think that's the nice thing about yesterday's win was that I had, I guess, posed the question to Simon that he looked like an on-speed, one-pace type that could just roll through his gears, as Chris Parnham rode him in that manner at the start previous. But there yesterday, he was able to take a trail, and he still finished off the race really, really nicely. So he's versatile. He has a great racing pattern, and en route to a Kalgoorlie Cup, I think he'll be awfully hard to beat.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I think he'll be...
Getting up there.
Yeah, at this stage, another Chino, if he progresses that way, would be the top weight. But I think Iowa would be second at this stage. But he's going to be super hard to beat in that Boulder Cup next start, isn't he, in 3 weeks' time. It was a funny race to watch because Buckeye Bullet was outside leader and Iowa was just searching for a run in behind them when he was bolting, and Buckeye Bullet laid out quite noticeably and the heavens opened for Iowa and Buckeye Bullet dropped out. So things aligned, but he was always travelling the winner. Stop Dreaming was a cracking run in behind them. Second up, 2,200 and coming off a mid-prep trial as well after an ordinary first-up run. It was super, was held up and finished off really, really nicely. Candlelight Supper had every chance. I thought was a solid effort in third, and Filthy Habits just couldn't get that separation that he needed. He just goes the same speed, doesn't he, Filthy Habits? He doesn't stop, and he came again over the late stages. He's just so tough, but he just seemed to keep whacking away, and if he was able to give them the slip, might have been a different result, but just having that company the whole way through probably brought him undone a little bit.
I love the runners. Stop Dreaming. He'll be a horse to follow for me as well. He obviously has his barrier issues, but over the staying journeys, it doesn't actually matter that much if he is slow out. So I'm happy to continue to follow him. He went around at a big price there yesterday. He's still eligible for easier races, but I suspect that with his trainer in Luke Fernie that he'd be heading towards a Cal Cup, albeit that might not be all that suitable from a ratings perspective, but he could go around at a big price, and there's not much between him and Iowa.
Just with Iowa, and we've been a big fan. My only concern, Cal, would be track. He's Galileo. He's been winning on softs.
Yep.
So he's won 3 times previously on a good track.
That was a while back at Doomben, when he got over distance, over 2200s back then. I think he won at Hawkesbury and Doomben over the middle distance sort of journeys. I reckon those goods over there might be a little softer than ours here.
Yep.
So, anyway, continued success. Simon doing a terrific job with him, and it's great. I think it's Derby Racing, isn't it?
Sure is.
Yeah, so it's great to have Derby Racing winning over here as well.
You are listening to Racing Rewind on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
3 deep around them. They're followed after a length and a half to Goes Two Walks, who hugs the rail and towards the tail end of the field, Titan Blinders, but it's all Ginnivan at the moment. At the 300, Ginnivan races away by 3 lengths on Pooley. Then Super Session starting its run. He shakes up the leader. It's the favourite Ginnivan clear going to the 150. 3 in front of Pooley, Super Session. He's getting a little tired, but the post is looming, and it's going to be Ginnivan again. Ginnivan home in the Jolly Beggar Stakes, beat Pooley. Third. Oh, that was close.
Oh, the punter's happy there. $1.70 Ginnivan for Jimmy Taylor and Jason Brown winning the Jolly Beggar Stakes. Lock, tell us all about it.
Yes, something to keep Greg and Craig happy on the text line, but yeah, it's a pretty easy watch. He's just so reliable now and very, very quick out of machines. He led the race almost by 3 lengths as soon as the gates opened. He's just very, very sharp, and from there was able to roll them along. Just get a breather for probably 50 metres, but as Michael said at the top of the show, he ran the fastest final 600 leading, which is obviously very, very rare and a sign of a nice horse. And when horses are able to do that and have the racing pattern that he possesses, they're going to win more races than they lose.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they beat him at the moment over 1,000 metres, because we saw the last couple of starts, he's been heavily pressured and he's still far too strong for them. And obviously if he got it soft, he'd probably win by further. So he's doing it at both ends. And the way he's been strong through the line over the late stages, maybe even 1100s at Ascot wouldn't be without the realms of possibility. So I think he's flying at the moment. Pooley stuck on quite well, sat outside Ginnivan and stuck on for seconds, go forward. Looked like he'd improved with the run yesterday physically and trolled up okay, and looked like Lucy was just hanging on to him until about the 200 before she let him go, and he found the line well to run third. Super Session I thought was a better run than reads on paper, especially if he is heading to a race like the Hannons. He was 3 wide, no cover for most of the race and still found the line quite well. I think it was a decent run for a horse that's going to be stepping up in trip, and I like the fact that he probably didn't settle last. He was probably caught in no man's land because he jumped better than he usually does and he settled closer than he usually does. Otherwise he would have been out the back with cover, but I think Super Session is going to be a pretty nice chance heading towards those sort of races like a Hannons. But between now and then, is it the birthday? That's
the Nicopolis in 2 weeks' time, an 84 plus 1200. So that will be a perfect race for Super Session. And then from there,
Black Heart Bard or
the Hannons isn't too far away. Yep. So I think there's a real sense of timing out of this race in regards to Super Session. He's the horse that I'm circling and just keeping an eye on. Adam Durant, the stable's flying. We know he knows how to win a Hannons handicap. I suspect on the minimum, I think he's going to be Hannons bound. And, yeah, you just feel like there's a sense of timing and the horse could be at a reasonable quote as well.
He won a Mount Barker sprint over 1,300 metres.
And a Batavia.
Yeah. I think that was over 1,200, was it?
Yeah, 1,200.
1,200,
yep.
Yeah. I'm not sure in terms of the rating of horses who the highest rated horse. I don't know if he'd be on the minimum. Typically with a listed, of course, they're generally 90 pluses, but Kalgoorlie races are often a lot different to that, the Hannons and the Cup. So he might actually not be on the minimum. He might be up there, but either way, I think his profile's like a decent enough Hannons horse.
That's it.
Goes Two Walks, I thought was settled a lot further back than I thought. Found the line okay, but just not going as well this prep.
Gordon sent one in. Thanks, Lochie, with laughing and money bag emojis there for you as well.
Jeez, he's getting some love. How many phones you got in your pockets?
7.
Race 6, the Unite Resourcing Handicap over the 1,400 metres.
At its girth this second. Uncle Gerard goes up, makes a line of 3, and Cisco Joe to the outside. Trio searching for a run back in behind them, not getting a lot of room. Western Powers coming down the outside, correct choice as well, looking for a run. Watch Me Rock, Uncle Gerard. Trio looking for room still. Down the outside, Western Power. Watch Me Rock, the leader from Uncle Gerard. So Natea Trio. Watch Me Rock, Uncle Gerard diving. Watch Me Rock. Watch Me Rock fell in from Uncle Gerard. A luckless trio between them, third, getting...
Yes, Watch Me Rock for Awesome Rock. Grant and Alana Williams and William Pike, Uncle Gerard and Trio, to me, didn't have a lot of luck. Western Power back in fourth.
Yes, there were a few luckless horses in this race, courtesy of what was just a slowly run race. Dennis Chew found the front by default almost, and from there, Willie Pike just allowed Watch Me Rock to stride forward and stay out of trouble. Settled outside the lead, and I think that's what won this horse the race. He was the horse that was just out of trouble, in clear air, and was able to make his move when he wanted to, albeit the horse does still do a little bit wrong, and I feel like he's not the complete furnished product just yet. You can see once he hits the line, or hits the front, I should say, he still has a little look around and isn't quite sure how to completely put them away, but you just have to look at the prices that this horse has started throughout his career. He started $1.20 in a maiden one day and actually got beat. So clearly there's always been a rap on him. Clearly he's always had the ability, and now he's just starting to put it all together now, which isn't uncommon for the Awesome Rocks to take that little bit of extra time.
Yeah, for sure. I thought Uncle Gerard, had to work a little bit early through the early stages, but he ended up slotting in one out, one back, and was a nice ride and a nice win. But Trio was, a nice run, I should say. Trio was the luckless horse of the race, though, just caught up behind them, nowhere to go, and was largely untested through the line. I don't think Clint was even able to pull the stick on him. He went through, probably should have won the race, I feel, if he had have had even luck. Western Power found the line well, and Cisco Joe was the horse I tipped. I thought he was only playing for a slowly run race. I thought he had the perfect run, 3 deep cover. That's generally where you want to be in those really steadily run races that are in such a condensed field. But perhaps the 1400 metres second up is just on the short side for him. He didn't have enough zip as some of the others, and back up to a mile and heading towards the 2000, he'll be better suited further into his prep. And the other disappointment was Dennis Shue had got things very soft and ran last, so that was a plain performance by him. But I do think Cisco Joe, there's a win in him up in distance this prep.
I wouldn't be dropping off Sonatea either. She's a cracking type to look at in the yard. She's a big girl as well.
She was held up too, wasn't she?
Yes, I just don't think the slowly run race suited her at all. We'll definitely see the best of her when she has some galloping room into the corner, and I just think that she can bounce back next start with a better run in transit.
Okay, race number 7 was the Vale Joan Parnham handicap. We'll listen to this, pull the race apart, and we'll take another break.
From home now, and Silver Eye about to roll along here by 2 on Famo at the top of the straight. Fiore makes a move now, kicks it clear down the outside, keep attacking ahead of Support of Galaxy Affair. The Rail Star rating dropping out, Patron of Kings and King of Keed. It's Silver Eye, hands and heels though, at the 150, clear by more than 2, keep attacking. Silver Eye shaken up, keep attacking. Patron of Kings charging late, but it'll be Silver Eye all the way. Silver Eye scored by more than a length. Patron of Kings, keep attacking, and King of Keed getting through late.
Okay, this seemed a very popular win. A lot of people found Silver Eye on top, and it got the money.
It did, and we spoke about the fact that there were plenty of races yesterday at Belmont Park that appeared to lack speed on paper, and I love the initiative from both Lucy Fiore and Adam Durant to just allow this horse to stride forward and find the front. Interesting to note that Geordie Rolfe post-race said that Adam was very confident that this horse would be able to find the front, and that's exactly how Lucy rode this gelding. He's rock hard fit, he's been in work a while, and he was just ridden to suit. He was able to stride, had the horses chasing in behind him, and from there found the line very, very well.
Yeah, he certainly did. There was a lack of speed engaged in this race as well, so I thought Silver Eye would potentially land outside leader. A horse like Famo I thought could potentially take it up, but I loved the initiative, rolled straight to the top, and I don't think went too slow either. It seemed to be quite an even tempo throughout. It was a nice nicely rated ride, kick clear, and he was just far too good for them, even under the 60 kilos. He's had a terrific preparation, beautiful type of a horse, typical of Sessions, really impressive horse to look at. These are the facts, and Patron of Kings is going to be a follow for mine. I thought was a really nice... Actually, I'm going to be following 3 horses out of this race, my only 3 for the day. Patron of Kings has been very good, both runs back, and I think back to the Patron of Kings of old. I liked the run of King Akid coming right up in grade, was held between horses, couldn't really work through his gears, but found the line really, really strongly. I thought it was a nice effort, and star rating was a better run than Reed's.
Yes.
On paper, was 3 back the fence, held up, had to bide, check off heels, peel around them, and then come again late. 1,200 metres for a horse that will get over a bit further. Had to make a couple of runs. I thought was a really nice effort. I think this race will hold up as a form reference. Keen to be following a few out of it.
Here are the facts too, Michael. Sessions is currently second on the size list behind Shooting to Win. So Oakland Park having a good time of it at the moment.
There were 3 horses yesterday at Belmont Park that Michael Grantham and Bob Peters stepped up straight from maiden company to a Saturday. King Akid, Western Power and Correct Choice. I think it was almost a fact-finding mission to see where these horses are at moving forward, and King Akid was certainly one of them that suggested that he's a Saturday type in months to come. He'll be one of my horses to follow as well as Michael.
You are listening to Racing Rewind on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Without Reg as they turn for home at the 400 mark. Over on the inside, Angel Undercover just wobbled away from the fence, drew a length and a half to Amber. Other One Son tested down near the rail, got a saloon passage through, and likewise Sentimental Bell starting to build under the hands and heels of Pike. Angel Undercover joined by Other One Son. Desert Nymph is running on. Sentimental Bell keeps coming. Other One Son, Desert Nymph and Sentimental Bell. Desert Nymph on the outside went to Other One Son. Desert Nymph has won it. Desert Nymph has got there about a neck. Other One Son, Sentimental Bell in the middle. Fourth home, Angel Undercover from DM.
Okay, tell us about this one, Michael. The Peters Investments handicap. It was Desert Nymph beating Other One Son and Sentimental Bell back in third.
Gee, she's flying, isn't she? Desert Nymph. She's done it on heavy track. She's done it on a soft 5. She's done it over 1,300 metres now as well. She's class 3 to a 72 plus within 3 starts. Pretty progressive. She's done it on speed and off speed as well. So she's not only versatile in tracks, distance and surfaces, she's been able to do it in field position. So she's going great guns at the moment. And this was a pretty deep field. So I thought yesterday's win was obviously career best, but it was especially impressive.
Exactly right. Other One Son, Sentimental Bell, Angel Undercover are all very, very genuine Saturday types in their own right. So with that in mind, I thought the performance of Desert Nymph, I agree, career best there yesterday. As I've said on a number of occasions now, I just love the way that she's been able to settle handier this time in. And she was midfield there yesterday, but Chris Parnham just had her in a position where she was happy, and also in a position where he could make his move into the race whenever he liked. They seem to stack up coming into the home corner, and therefore a horse like Other One Son and Sentimental Bell, they didn't really have the momentum that a horse like Desert Nymph had at the top of the straight. But all honours to her, she's one of the most informed mares we have here in WA at the moment. Yeah, for sure. Other One Son, great run, put together 2 rippers since joining Luke Fernie's yard. Beautiful type of a horse as well. Got the inside run there, and he looked to be the winner, but was just collared by a really informed horse in Desert Nymph, who carried 4 kilos less than him as well. So I think Other One Son you can keep following. Sentimental Bell's gone under his favourite a couple of times now. Couldn't really give her many excuses there yesterday. She was perhaps held up fleetingly on straightening, but I feel like Desert Nymph and Other One Son were still pretty good through the line, but she's still been a great bread and butter horse this preparation. And Angel Undercover found the front in a race that didn't have a huge amount of tempo. Personally, I thought Corncob was the leader, but he ended up settling along a lot further back than expected and didn't really play too much of a part, but she stuck on quite well. Other One Son, I've just loved his first 2 runs back as well. He actually hasn't won at less than 1,400 metres, so the fact that he's put together these first 2 performances over 12 and 1,300, I think he's in for a really nice campaign, and a horse off a long layoff. He's just building into the preparation nicely. I think he'll be ready to win next start.
Desert Nymph by Rommel. So that's a good advertisement for that particular stallion as well. One here from Kirsty. Morning, boys. Since you have the manager of Alfior in the studio as normal, can you ask him the logistics in him choosing Sentimental Hero over Desert Nymph? Thanks, Kirsty.
Cheers, Kirsty. Manager stuff up in, to put it short. There was a pre-booking for Sentimental Hero. Didn't think Desert Nymph was going to that race, and speaking to Michelle yesterday, she wasn't going to that race. She was going to the Grad 12 and last-minute change. So,
okay.
But definitely a stuff up there either way, and I think Lochie can attest to the mood in the room yesterday, how flat I was.
Yeah, I had to give him a couple pats on the back and said, it's okay, mate, it's not the end of the world, but you know what, there's lessons learnt.
I take these things seriously, Marty.
The Melbourne Football Club could learn from Michael. Just put your hand up and say, I've stuffed up. So well done to you, Michael. The Melbourne Football Club, they still haven't admitted that they stuffed up, have they, Marty?
Every now and then you just need to give yourself a good uppercut, and it's good.
Yes.
It's good.
Final event, the Happy 30th. Justin Plum handicap over the 1,600 metres.
Classic Rogue, then I Love Your Smile and the Spruker in a bunched up field at the 400. Snazzler joined wide out by Ace Command Macchiato the middle, but Snazzler's got a kick. Category 3 gets a rails run. Classic Rogue. Here comes the favourite, Captain Pluto, at the 250, and Captain Pluto and Classic Rogue have come together. Classic Rogue, Captain Pluto the outside. Category 3 getting right up along the rail though. Here's Category 3. Category 3 against the inside. Captain Pluto won't be much in it. They hit it. Category 3, I thought it was Category 3, a nose, Captain Pluto.
Smoking Joe up along the inside gets Category 3 home for Michael Grantham. Peter's Investments upsets Captain Pluto, which had got into, stop it, $1.40.
Very, very short.
Classic Road back in third. I thought the bottle of Jamison's I was drinking at the time when I heard Max say $1.40, I thought I must have emptied it, not just started it.
You probably had, in fairness.
Wow.
You're on the second bottle, Marty.
$1.40, what the hell?
But Category 3, she's been building this campaign, and she was actually out to the mile for the first time in her career, which is very unlike a horse owned by Bob Peters. But there yesterday just had a lovely run in transit. Clearly, a slight query at the mile, and I feel like if a horse is a query, you need that type of run where you're held up, and then when the split eventually came, Joey was able to just sprint her up the rail, and from there just got the bob on the line. Captain Pluto, I guess, disappointing in the sense that he was $1.40, but I still thought he ran well. Category 3 just got the bob on the line.
Absolutely, really well ridden yesterday by Joey as a party. Captain Pluto, I thought, had every chance, really. Was a 3-deep cover, peeled off at the right time, finished off well. Liked the horse, liked the way he's going, but just, Joey as a party was just able to give that mare, the winner, a gun ride. Classic Rogue has had some luckless runs of late. Got a pretty nice run yesterday by his standards, and then he finished off quite well and into third. And Probity at a mile was a nice surprise. Thought that was quite a nice effort from him. That probably the run of the race just about was the Spruker, who went back to last and was held up at different stages, flashed home for 5th, but difficult horse to be following. The Spruker hasn't won in a long time. So, yeah, I think ride of the race, Joey as a party aboard the winner, and Captain Pluto, whilst you can't be backing them at those prices, I still think he can be winning races moving forward. Exactly.
I was still a fan of his run, albeit he went down at a very, very short quote. But in reality, if you're going to go around these types of prices, you probably need to be stakes-level horses going through the grade. I don't think Captain Pluto is ever going to see those heights. So he's obviously just not going to go around at $1.40 anytime soon again. He might actually. Yeah, he could be on that type of path. Do you still feel he's a better horse at a mile, or now off the back of that run yesterday, he might revert back to the old plan and get him back out in trip?
I'd be going up to Cal with him. Richie Bell was very keen on Category 3. He said getting to the mile is really important. Has been screaming out for it, and also getting onto drier tracks. Now, I had it pegged as a wet tracker, but Richie bang on the money there, and he was well remunerated for his selection.
Previously, she had placed once on soft or heavy, so you read that well. She was a wet tracker.
Yeah.
On Racing Rewind, it is time for the boys to look back and determine who are the black bookers, the ones to be on next start, the horses to follow.
Sorry, Marty, I couldn't help myself.
Exactly.
for me.
Our listeners don't miss a thing.
Iowa, continue to follow him heading towards a Cal Cup. Stop Dreaming and 2 horses out of maiden grade from Michael Grantham's yard, Western Power and King Akeed.
Yeah, I'm keen to follow 3 horses out of the Silver Eye race. Patron of Kings, King Akeed and Star Rating, I think will all be really hard to beat this preparation. And other one, Sun's a nice horse as well.
Okay. How are the horses to follow? How have they been going?
Great.
Been following them? Or the horses have been following, or they've been winning?
I've noticed, just having a look through, because I text them to myself.
Yeah.
So then I keep them. Some of them have
I've just
really
texted myself Happy Father's Day.
Arcadia Park, Cisco Joe race yesterday, Crescent City. Don't know if Crescent City's probably going to Cal, actually. Some of these horses haven't been racing. Roaming Danger. Has Roaming Danger raced the last couple of weeks?
No.
Jeez,
You've sent them to the paddock.
Yeah, I've sent them away.
I followed Vast Start in the Farnley,
Yes.
which is next Saturday. So
Yep.
keep an eye out for that.
So did I.
All right, time to go. Thanks for coming in, boys. Thanks to Soph. Jess Earnshaw to take us through the morning into the afternoon. Have a great Father's Day.